Hey everyone. Oh my gosh, you're like my mirror right now. No frills. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to another episode of Words of Wisdom Wednesday. Words with Yoda. I am trying to get you right. Here we go. I came outside today because it's the first day that I've taken this long to get my episode done. And today's gonna be about willpower, so even better. All right, so I've been thinking about the fact that I haven't discussed this, and I think that's just bizarro. This is bugging me. I know this landscape mode is better for you guys, but I can't see. So if you're here, I can't see you. I'm so sorry. Anyway, all right. So one of the few things that I want to bring up about our willpower is that we need to treat it like the finite resource it is. Treat it like the finite resource it is. Treat your willpower with the same respect and value that you should be treating time, right? Willpower is a finite resource, but it's also like the best kind, right? I'm trying to mix like 5 different thoughts. Okay, so our willpower isn't meant to be this fuel source that you're using for some long period of time, okay? It's a finite resource in the sense that it's meant to get us through breakthroughs. It's meant to get us through plateaus of inconsistencies or lack of motivation or lack of drive, etc. Willpower is not meant to be like survived on. We're not meant to be using this resource as our way of life. And what happens when we do, because there are times that you just have to will yourself through things, right? For me, that has been largely the last year and a half, the process of finishing caring for, my mom when she'd moved in, and all the things that took place losing her, and then the pandemic, and then we all know after that, right? So it's a process. The thing I hate the most, right? I am not the fan of the process girl. But I will say that when you have something that does force you to use willpower for an extended period of time, what that ultimately does is it drains this particular fuel that's hard to replace. It's hard to replenish true willpower fuel. And I want you to think of these things like the fuel tank that they are. Like if you filled your gas tank, right? I think it's a perfect analogy to use that phrase because there's different kinds of gas. I didn't mean that. Fuel. Excuse me. That reminded me of a funny memory from back when I was in the military and somebody called fuel gas and disregard. Okay, so it's fuel. We use different kinds of fuel for different things, okay? Rocket fuel is going to be different than regular unleaded, or what's going to power your something else. I'm not an engineer, but do you know what I'm talking about, okay? Specifically, willpower takes like special moments that give you frisson, those goosebumps that you get all over your body. They're called frisson. That's like a whole other video to talk to you guys about, but things that give you frisson are ways that you can deposit fuel in the willpower tank. But it's if you use it all, and that's what you're running on, if your fuel source is only your willpower, then that's why we feel burnt out and exhausted and in a rut, and it takes a really long time to replace that fuel because we've been running on it for so long. So when your regular fuel is on empty, it's the willpower tank usually that you draw from to get you through that. It's the willpower tank that you're using, the fuel source, when you're running and you hit a wall and you keep going. I haven't done that in years, but I remember it, okay? But when you're going, you hit that wall, and willpower is the fuel that's that little voice that's like, you keep fucking going, keep going, you keep going. That's your willpower fuel. You can't all the time be relying on that. So what can we do about it? What are some tips? Well, number one, consider that it's a fuel tank. So this is something that you want to make sure you're filling the tank. So if you have some big goals coming up, if we have some weight to lose, the Corona 15 or quarantine 15, or, whatever goals that we might have, we need to make sure that that tank is full, and we need to be mindful, full. We need to be mindful and set our mindset about this topic, and not be complacent about the status of our willpower fuel tank before we start whatever endeavor that we're looking at. If it's a new workout program, if it's a new job, if you're taking on a new business, whatever's going on in your life, if you're going to require at any point some of your willpower, then you need to check the tank. It's like you're going on a trip, and you need to make sure that you have the fuel that's going to make it through your tank. So ask yourself, when have I deposited my willpower tank? When have I seen something incredibly inspiring? When have I gone for something that maybe I was the underdog, or some people have different ways that fill yours. I'm giving you the ways that I know that work for me. Things like the Olympics is going to start on Friday. And it's been 5 years this time. 4 was hard enough, but it's been 5 years this time. And I feel like it's this special gift just for me from the universe that knows that I really need the boost from the Olympic Games. And it's my favorite. The Summer Games is my favorite. Funny squirrel is when we were in Beijing for the Olympics, and Michael Phelps broke the record and had 8 gold medal swims that Olympic Games. It was like 3 a.m. and I was screaming so loud that I worried my neighbors at 3 a.m. shouting at the TV when he won. So yeah, needless to say, that puts fuel in my willpower tank. I have these memories of my special favorite Olympic events. Carrie Strug doing a vault on a broken foot, like things like that really put fuel in my willpower tank. And I urge you, strongly encourage that you find something. If it's not, try what works for me. It might work for you. But find something. Take some time to go to the gas station. Go refuel. Take some time to go to YouTube and watch motivational videos. Watch something that pumps you up. For me, it's combat sports. For me, it's sports in general, the Olympic Games, and I'm excited that I'm going to get that boost. And make sure your fuel tank's good to go, and make sure you're using other fuel as your primary fuel source, and that you're sparingly trying to get yourself. Willpower is like for breakthrough situations. Don't rely solely on your willpower. And if you do have to rely solely on your willpower, like I kind of have had to do for the last year and a half or so, if that's the case, don't be surprised if you put on a few pounds, or you're not perfect, and I just took you off my stand and haven't uploaded any of this to YouTube yet, and I'm still just doing Facebook Lives. All the crappy thoughts that you could be telling yourself, you're more vulnerable to those things. You're more vulnerable to attacks on your self-esteem and your willpower when your fuel source is empty. So make sure that you're still depositing into that. So sorry if the volume changed. My hand was covering it. Let me get you back on the stand just real quick. So during that time that I was, one sec. Love me anyway, hashtag. Thank you. Okay. But during that time, right, that I'm doing all these withdrawals and relying so heavily on that fuel source, we also have to be making some deposits. So that whole time, as often as possible on Saturday night, is fights are my self-care. I say that all the time. And I watch UFC. And now Friday night, bare knuckle boxing. And it puts fuel in that willpower tank. And so really be mindful of what endeavors you're using. Your fuel source is willpower. Be mindful of the things that you have. Take chunks. So let's say it requires a lot of willpower for you to refrain from eating specific foods, right? And you are going to need some other fuels in those departments to refrain, instead of only relying on your gutting it out and your willpower to because it's a finite resource. So as soon as you run out of it, well, then you're out of it. You're not going to keep going, and you get overwhelmed, you get drained, you have all these other side effects that you have to deal with. And so if you're relying on willpower, just please know that it's a finite resource, and we really have to be sure that we're refueling it. We can't make it mean anything. Make sure to watch the video about making it mean things. That's like the number one best piece of advice I've ever given anybody ever, was what we make things mean. Okay. So make sure you're not making it mean anything. I'm not making it mean anything that this is what it is right now. I'm going through certain processes, doing a lot of shadow work. I have a Goliath moth visited me right above my desk, my workspace. So that's a really cool other side story. I feel like I could just share all the things. For some reason, maybe I should just start doing these at night, and I'm more talkative. I don't know, or maybe not. Depends what you guys think. But anyway. My ultimate thing is we have to be mindful of these things. We have to stop making it mean that you're just not strong, or you're weak, or if you're struggling, or if you need help, or if you need things to put fuel in your tank. Don't make that mean anything bad. It's just as likely as not that it means something good. So don't make it mean anything bad. Just press on, you KFG, right? And make sure you're putting fuel in that tank. Do things that cause frisson. I'll type it in here and you guys can check it out. Do things that cause frisson. That for sure puts fuel in that tank, okay? And just remember that if you run out of willpower, you've just ran out of fuel, and maybe you were using it as fuel too often. Because if we're only relying on our willpower a little bit, and we're using other types of tools and other types of skills and other types of mechanisms and things that we can do, then our willpower will show up like a boss every time and push us through those plateaus and get us through the mountain and get us there, because we won't be relying on it for like all day-to-day stuff. So when we do need it, we will like soldier through like nothing else. So let's keep our fuel efficiency as high as we possibly can, and the best way to do that is fuel it up as often as you can, and do that with things that cause you frisson, the goosebumps, the goosies, the things that excite you, that make you cry, that show you tenacity, they show you encouragement. It's somebody that is where you want to be, somebody that's made the progress you want to make, or whichever goal, if it applies specifically, right? Or someone, for me, I'm doing a lot of shadow work right now, and that's really kind of hard to do, and that moth was really encouraging when that happened for me. So that was affirmation to me that like, keep going, you know, like you're getting somewhere. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. I am thinking maybe I'll do some at night and be more talkative. We have had some air quality issues today, so I really do have to let you go and stop rambling today. But my love and light to you all. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this is helpful. Take care. Thanks for watching.